It's 34 minutes past 7 o'clock on 99 FM. Time for us to go on our daily grind, our Royal Hustle. Tuesdays and Thursdays are dedicated to Namibian Royal Hustlers, and we always come to the table with this one. Today I'm joined by photographer Shawn van Eeden. He is a multi-award-winning photographer and art director whose work has been shortlisted at Cane Lion International Festival of Creativity. He has worked for mega brands like Coca-Cola, Toyota, Land Rover, Jeep, Tafelite and Kellogg's. Starting his career as a designer, he moved to the United Kingdom where he worked in London for agencies until he ended up at Leo Burnett. After 12 years in London, he returned to the land of the brave, joining the Y&R offices in Windhoek before finally embarking on professional photography. He is the proud founder of CreativeLAB, an international award-winning Namibian-based photographic studio that specializes in lifestyle and commercial photography. It's quite interesting for me to host you this morning, Shawn, because you're always behind the camera lens, taking pictures of us.
Yes.
Thank you so much and welcome to 99 FM, finally on air.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's start at the very beginning of your story. Tell us about your childhood. Tell us about where you were born and raised.
Born in the Western Cape, Paul. Lived there until I was about 13. Then my dad took us to Walvis Bay, where they opened up a factory there, and we've basically been planted there since I was 13 till now. And went to school there. Pretty much started my first job there in Walvis Bay.
Yeah.
And then eventually my dad said to me, listen dude, you need to do something with your life, you need to study something. I was like, I don't know what to do. And he said like, well, you're going to South Africa and you're going to go choose something. So I decided, look, I can draw, so let me do graphic design.
That's so cool.
So yeah, so I did study graphic design and then ended up back in Namibia doing as a graphic designer. You know.
You mentioning that you didn't know what you wanted to do with your life at that point in time. But tell us about the dreams you had, ambitions as a kid involved with like what kind of things were happening in your head?
No, there wasn't much things there to inspire you. So I think my dream, funny enough, was wanted to be a tennis pro. So I spent a copious amounts of time on the tennis court, and that didn't come to fruition.
You look like a tennis pro.
But yeah, I didn't play like one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was basically it, and it was quite shocking. When I actually had that question, I was thinking, that was it. I was like, I didn't jet pilot or anything like that.
But that was the dreams in the head. Well, that's a big dream. That's a really, really good one. I'm sure you still play tennis to this day.
I try to, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about a side hustle? Did you have something while you were back to South Africa, something on the side to just help you bring in an extra coin?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes, definitely. I mean, the student budget and working, you needed money for things that was. I worked everything. I did sign writing. I worked as a waiter. I worked in a fish factory. I worked. There was one job, bottle stores. I was helping out in shops, anything where there was a little bit of money to be made. So yeah, it was a lot of wherever there's an opportunity, quickly grab, get some money.
Take it,
Yeah.
What about the motivation? What was that thing that was instilled in you that made you feel like, whatever comes, grab it and do something about it? Tell us about what motivates and drives you.
Well, I think a lot of it was because I was worried that I didn't know what to do. So it was like, okay, I must try this, see if that's going to kickstart. Try this, see if that's going to kickstart. Try this and kickstart. So that's pretty much. I tried all these different things, and I was like, none of that really tickled my fancy. I was definitely worried, and then I was like, okay, I need to do more things.
Yeah.
Because everyone else has got their work, they're planned out, and you sitting here going like, I don't know what you're gonna do.
Twiddling fingers.
Yeah.
Tell us about the fulfilling aspect of your job as a photographer and art director. What's the thing that just fills your soul with joy?
The main thing is the creating. The main thing is the creating. It's really it's seeing it all come together. Like from the minute you get briefed to the final result, the fact that all those moving parts come together and you've created something, that is fantastic. I mean, that's really a nice. It's a nice feeling that there's something being created, and also obviously the fact that if it does get well received, there is that feedback that comes, and that the few hurdles you had to stumble over were worth it, and it was fun. But the creating is the main thing. It's like I think we're people that all people are built to create something,
yes. and building from scratch.
Yes,
that's amazing. Being able to see your work at the end of the day.
Definitely.
What has working post-pandemic taught you about yourself as a person and as an entrepreneur?
That's been a very big, interesting. I would say the pandemic has definitely taught me to stop worrying so much. Funny enough, that because before you would always worry about everything, and then you realize now that you have no control over the future. So you can it's not that you just sit back and do nothing. You have to still do the work, and you still have to think about possible things that come in the future, but you can't worry about it anymore. So that is definitely, for me, is something that I'm trying to do now. It's just like trying to just go through it, just go with the flow, go with life. But in the same sense, not sit still, use this time. I actually think for businesses, this is a great time for you to actually say, okay, what is that thing that I should have done? Now I could have perfected this craft or spent time on something. So obviously things have got quiet, but now you can use that time more effectively, and I think that will pay off. I hope that will pay off.
Hopefully,
so it has taught quite a lot, especially personally.
You worked in the United Kingdom for about 12 years before coming back to the land of the brave. What did your time in the UK teach you about craft and the international creative industry?
Well, a lot, because when I first got there, I thought, this is the thing with a small community. You're a big fish in a small pool. Then you get over there and you realize you're a small fish in a big pond. And as soon as you got out there and you were like, I can do this, the guys are like, dude, no, we got someone for that. So everyone is a master at their craft, and there's like these boxes, and you fit in those boxes, and you are literally the best in your box. You don't touch anyone else's box. You are the best in your box, and it was pushing your craft to the absolute max all the time. And the minute you think you've reached the point, the guy next to you is above you. Yes. So there's a constant push, a constant pressure to improve your skills. That really was an eye-opener there. And their work ethic is just, it's insane. The pace is insane. I mean, in the big agencies, the guy wouldn't even look at you if you're not someone.
Sure.
Like it's quite brutal, I must say. It was quite brutal, but at the same time, it also taught you, learned a lesson inside that you was like, okay, just do your thing, work hard, and push your craft.
How did you translate that into work here in Namibia? How did you bring back and implement that here for your work in Namibia?
The main thing was to keep pushing the boundaries of the work, not settle for just that. Always say, look, how can I make that better? How can I make this work? How can I make it look better? How can I make it work better? So that drive was definitely something that I brought along. But you must, at the same time, it was the work ethic I brought with, I think, and the drive, but not necessarily the style. So the style was like, that's where you have to adapt to your local market. And it's a different style, a different vibe, which is you adapt, but definitely was that the push was there. Yeah.
How do you keep elevating the CreativeLAB brand?
Sure.
Tell us about that story.
Well, the thing is, looking around you and looking at people that inspire you, you constantly thinking they inspire you. So like you're basically seeing an amazing project and you go, even music, it doesn't need to necessarily be photography, it could be anything. And then you just think, okay, again, remind yourself, that's what you must do. So go out, get in front of people, collaborate with people, suggest go into new technologies, try and reinvent things. It's a really, so constantly looking out for opportunities, constantly trying to do something differently.
And growing at the same time.
Yes, exactly. So you're going to try something that's not going to work. You're going to try something and think, wow, I should have done that ages ago. And then you will realize you've opened up a whole new avenue and a whole new client base almost.
Tell us about your hope for the future of Namibia. What do you see us turning into creatively or just in general?
I'm actually I'm very hopeful for Namibia. The thing is, the one thing that I must say that guys locally must do, and this is what I learned when I went over. Again, the small fish, big pond thing is that don't try and be better than the best. Don't think better than Namibia. Try and be better than the best of the best.
Like compete
and
with the
if we can
continent.
all continue doing that, then Namibia is going to get into that space where South Africa was internationally. Like people were going to South Africa for productions and stuff like that. So Namibia is getting there, and I'm seeing a lot of cool stuff coming out of Namibia. I love the creativity that's happening here. People must just try not to get their egos get in the way.
Yes.
Try and just let the craft and then
do the talking.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
but I'm very hopeful because Namibia is a young country and we've got a long way still to go, but we've done some cool stuff already. People are awesome.
Thank you.
So I'm very hopeful.
Yeah, no doubt. Shawn, thank you for joining us this morning. We look forward to what else the Creative Lab can create and the innovations that can come out of that space, and also just your work. You've done some really cool stuff for us here in the Land of the Brave, and we look forward to just the success of that growing and becoming a part of our culture and learning and developing skills from you as well. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm really privileged.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Head on over to social media in case you just missed this interview with Shawn van Eeden, who is an award-winning photographer and art director. He's saying, everybody come to the party, but come with your best effort. Compete with the guys that are the best. Ship them out of their boxes so you can own that box.